Hey, this is Tina Leader, and this is 3 tips on how to speak like a leader in a meeting. Number 1 is your tonality. I originally learned this in my improv class back in LA, Second City. Shout out to you. But if you don't know improv, it's all about the relationship between characters and establishing that right away. And one of the ways to essentially do that is to change your tonality, the way you spoke to the other character, in order to establish the social hierarchy, basically to establish who was in authority and who was the subordinate. There are 3 basic tones that you use essentially when you speak. There's the up tone, the neutral tone, and the down tone. And really we're talking about at the end of the sentence. So I can start up really high and up tone, but at the end of the sentence, I can go down tone. So here's an example of one sentence. Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do this for me? Right? So that is a more of a neutral tonality. It's not really going up or down. Here's the same sentence in an uptone. Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do this for me? You can hear that I'm going up at the very end, and it's almost like I'm asking. I'm asking for a favor, right? Hey, can you do this for me? So here's the same sentence in a down tone. Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you do this for me? Right? So even though technically you're asking, but it really doesn't sound like the person is asking because you're using the down tone. So I really encourage you to really practice your up tone, your neutral tone, and your down tone, because there is a time and place for each tonality. The up tone is more of a friendly vibe, right? So when you want to make somebody feel more than you, sometimes we want to do that as leaders or management in our team because we want the other person to feel like they're taking lead on this project. So even when you're in a meeting and maybe they're asking you questions as if you are the final call and you really want them to just fully lead that project, ideally, right? And you want to give them that sense of leadership, even though you already said that they are leading this project or leading this group of people. But for some reason, you notice that they keep using the uptone tonality. You might want to use the uptone tonality yourself. So subconsciously, they begin to take that leadership role, specifically when you talk about that project. So this is another way to lead your team on a subconscious level without them really knowing. I do believe that great leaders create other great leaders, and this is one of the ways that you can do that on a subconscious level. Tip number 2 is expectations. If you are leading a meeting, everybody on the team should know the agenda, right? So let's say you go on the meeting and you start off the meeting by saying, hey, thank you for coming, everybody. Here today, we're gonna hit this point, this point, this point, and this point. And how we're gonna go about that is X, Y, and Z. I want each person to speak blah, 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 blah. Whatever your expectations are of how the meeting is supposed to run, then you lay that out way before, in the very, very beginning. Because if you don't set expectations or you don't set the agenda, then you're creating a lose-lose situation because they don't know how to operate and they have to base their operation on a bunch of assumptions. Let's just say there was a group of team members who are all on the same level, came together, and they're supposed to figure something out, right? Their boss told them, you're supposed to just figure this out, right? And so everybody's technically title-wise on the same level, but whoever sets the agenda for the meeting and takes control and hosts the meeting, they are seen as the leader of that meeting, right? Everybody's going to refer back to them because they set the agenda, they set the expectations of this meeting. So even if everybody's technically title-wise, social hierarchy-wise is on the same level on an organizational chart, really the organizational chart doesn't mean anything. The leader, the true leader, will always rise and always be the one who's setting the expectations. Of course, this doesn't mean you're doing it in an authoritative way, right? If somebody says, actually, maybe we should do it this way, then you go ahead and say, oh, you know what? That is a good idea, down tonality. Why don't we try that? right? Why don't we try that? And then you go ahead and try that. But you're still the host. Even if somebody suggests this or that, you are still the leader because you're the first one who decided to set the expectations of the meeting, wrong or right. For those of you who know Dan Pena, he always says, I may be wrong, but never in doubt, right? So never be in doubt when you're leading or setting expectations of a meeting, because even if you are wrong, it doesn't matter. You're the one who came in with confidence to set the expectations and agenda of the meeting. And that really puts you in a leadership role, whether you have the title or not. The third tip is to ask good questions. Some might think this is contradicting that, okay, if you ask questions, it's gonna make me seem like I don't know anything, and a leader must know everything. And that's simply not true. A good leader will recognize that either they may not know, or if you recognize that the rest of the team probably doesn't know the context to this. So maybe a leader might jump in and say, hey, John, I don't think the rest of the team knows exactly what's going on in the context in which we talked about prior. Can you please explain to the team exactly what you're referring to? Right? So that is a great way to, even though you're asking questions for the team, always constantly thinking about the team, and good questions that really ultimately helps everybody else execute on what they need to execute on. And so by asking these questions that maybe other team members might be thinking, but for some reason, a lot of people, they don't want to speak up, right? So because they don't want to sound stupid, or they don't want to come across like they don't know, or they haven't done their homework, right? And maybe they were supposed to read a document beforehand, but they didn't. So all of those things taking into consideration, a leader will ask those things to take that burden away from their team members. Essentially, this creates indirect rapport. So if you have the insight to know, maybe this might be something one of my team members or multiple team members just might not have full clarity on, let's ask questions that bring things to clarity. And there's no gray area. And if there is, and you're okay with it, maybe sidebar it to another meeting, right? But making sure we address every single thing so everybody's crystal clear on everything that's happening and everything that's going on. All right, let me know, comment below on which tip you're going to use and really keep top of mind throughout this week, throughout this month, and which one you're gonna really concentrate on. By the way, if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you like the content you see today, and I will see you